Hi and welcome to another episode of Degen BJJ with me, Irish Mike, and my co-host
Ken.
Okay, how are you getting on?
That's very abrupt to me.
Ken. Yeah, and I oh jeez,
Yeah.
I actually felt like I just tore off there really fast, but excited to see you, I suppose, because I haven't seen you since Sunday.
Yeah, and we haven't, like same with last week, we haven't been training as much as well. I haven't been training at all still, haven't seen as much of each other, getting those withdrawal symptoms. Yeah, I'm glad I had Sunday to kind of shake out a bit, because I think I'd have, if it had been 2 weeks off the mats completely now, I'd not be...
You'd be gone mad in the head.
Well, that ship sailed a long time ago, but yeah, I'd be more insane, mate. Be more insane. But yeah, what's been going on with you? We'll get into Brighton in a minute. Obviously,
yeah,
that's the
back training. Went Monday night. Actually left work a little bit early, just so because I like actually going to watch you compete. A little fire underneath me, and it was just like because I was off sick with the cough or whatever. Like that, I wasn't training. I was like fucking. I was looking up competitions and all. There's that DNA one is on this Sunday, and I was like, I had the day to register. I was like, fuck it, and then I was like, no, Mikey, cop the fuck on, like you're just coming off a cough, you're, like whatever little gas tank you have isn't going to be about like for that. So
yeah, Pad's competing in that, isn't he?
Yeah, Paddy is.
And I think it's only the second iteration of the DNA tournaments. I think they're pretty new. You know, Jalal that we train with, he knows the guys that run it. I think I think they were saying that before, connected with his old gym. I don't know if I've said it on the pod, but I've definitely mentioned it somewhere.
We've had so many private conversations, it's hard to...
Yeah, they're all beginning to blur, and but yeah, big up Paddy, good luck this weekend. So you didn't sign up, when was Rate
registration was like on Monday at some stage, so...
Oh, I see, so you had a bit of time. But
I could have done it, yeah, but I decided just to go train instead. Monday was alright, and I went last night as well, which would have been Wednesday night, and I was talking to Squish, who we'll have on next week.
So he's definitely coming on next week?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So we'll have to sort out logistics and that. But I was talking to him, obviously he's a brown belt, for people that don't know him, just about like general training and stuff like that. Because I've obviously said I've no guard game. Everybody should know this by now, but I'm looking to start. And he said like he kind of done the same thing. He just like used pass, and then he just got to a certain stage where he started doing it. And now all he does is sit down and pull Del Eva or whatever.
Yeah,
like so.
We won't comment on whether that's because he's lazy or because of his guard proficiency. Little column A, little column B. Definitely typifies the brown belt.
You'll have to ask him what does "Can you smell popcorn" mean? When he's on next, if you can remember it. It's a little inside joke, yeah.
What does pop?
I won't get rid of the joke today, but we'll ask him if you.
All right.
If he'll know himself now. He'll be laughing away in the car listening. Can you smell popcorn? But so he was just saying he was kind of giving me his advice on it because I'm going to start. I've made the decision to start drilling a bit more, and he was saying like, because I'm in advance now the whole time, I don't do a lot of mixed classes. But he said whenever you can, you should probably try and roll with white belts. I think there's a lot of white belts that are probably technically more efficient than me, but the idea is that you'd have someone that you could actually work your game on or try to create your
theoretically,
game. Yeah,
then they beat the fuck out of you and you're left there crying on the drive out.
Yeah, I did roll with a few lower belts last night, but I didn't fucking sober any of them either. Like, but
you got to work on your new shit. So you're back, you're training, you're healthy, healthy as one can be.
I feel so much better, like, and as I say, work is going quite well at the minute as well. So it's like mental health issues on all sides. As fucking boxes are being ticked, like. So
bit of sun helps.
Sun as well. Yeah, sun always. You know yourself, lived in Oz for so long and travelled a bit that like when the sun is out, everybody's a bit happier as well.
Honestly, there's a. Yeah, I'm not the guy to explain the science behind it, but like,
you're going to go on with your hippie shit.
Nah, not even the hippie shit. There's I've always bigged up the hippie
Andrew
shit.
Huberman has entered the chat,
and that's why I like the Huberman stuff, because it's like all my kind of woo hippie shit that I've been doing over the years is given a kind of the like
stick your arse in the air and spread your cheeks and let your arsehole get some sunlight. Yeah,
I do that for entirely different reasons. That's to give the neighbours a show. That's not for my health.
It's to make sure you don't have any tan line.
I stopped doing that. And they wrote and was like, "Can you start doing it?"
Is that because you moved next to the school? Yeah, stop doing that. Sorry, we're going way too bants and not podcast, but
not podcast. But so you're back training on the mat. I unfortunately am not. But you're speaking about drilling. I'm hoping to at least be down there next week, even if it's not able to warm up or anything. Just I'll come down to my normal classes that I'd normally attend and drill. Like I keep saying I'm going to do it, and then we get another scorching hot day.
I sent you a video off that Tape Lab crowd that how to tape your rib. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
I saw it. I haven't actually.
I don't
watched
actually know if it even pertains to it, but I just saw it. It was actually.
I'll give that a watch. But yeah, hoping to be back. Yeah, I think I might have already been back, to be honest, if it wasn't for Brighton. So I'll jump into that.
I mean, I have to say, like, fair play to you if we are going to start the Brighton thing. Like, I mean, you're actually. I don't know how you could have went up my estimation more, like, you know what I mean, but like it was just fucking, it was brilliant. Some of the lads have seen the video, and I've obviously shared it on the page as well. I mean, I think just holding that choke on you for 20 seconds, but we'll go back and we'll start a recap. So
yeah, so I'll pick up, because obviously last Thursday Friday when it was released, but on last week's pod I mentioned the ongoing issue with the ribs, and I went to training on Saturday actually. My plan was maybe to warm up and just see the guys. Obviously, I wouldn't spar that close to a comp anyway, because I never do. I normally start tapering the 2 or 3 days before.
Yeah, you actually have the same kind of approach you take to all the comps, don't you? Where how many hours you want to get in, how much stuff you want to do.
I've got like a little blueprint of what I do that was set by our coach really for when we did the first one as a club, and then I kind of just followed that and tweaked bits
to suit yourself,
that suit my schedule a little bit,
mm-hmm.
And added in a couple of little conditioning things from when I used to box that I like to do that are a bit different from
makes it a bit more enjoyable.
The on the mat conditioning stuff that we did is a bit tough to do in your own gaff if you don't have a 40-metre hall or something to do your sprints up and down. So I do some stuff like that. But yeah, I obviously had to stop that well early this time because of firstly the knee injury and then the rib injury. And then I went to training on Friday, planning to just loosen up a bit and see everyone, keep my head in it. On Saturday before the comp on the Sunday, and I was sat on the edge of the mat at the end of the kids' class, and then when they told everyone to get on the mats to line up, I stood up and like just felt my rib like kind of
pop again.
Not fully pop, but like like if you've got a pulled muscle and you pull on it, it was kind of. And you like give that.
It's a stretch that you didn't want, like.
Yeah, it was. I was just like, made me aware that it was still hurt, and I was like, you know what? Shaz was teaching. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sit mat side and watch. And then like whilst I was sitting mat side, I was doing some like real basic stuff like technical stand up and that, just to move my body and see how the rib felt. Because I'd done absolutely nothing from the Friday before, other than like get up, get out of bed, do your normal daily
day's work. Yeah, no sparring or training.
Yeah, nothing at all. Like went for a very light jog to see how it felt when I was breathing heavily.
Yeah.
To see, and then so Saturday I was not feeling fantastic after that.
No.
After that, because I was like, oh fuck, everything hurts. I come back, I'm sat at the gaff, and I'm like, do I just sack this one off? You know, it was really, I was like, I know me, I'm stubborn as hell. Like, for me to do that would be.
I made a comment about how much of a dickhead you are because of that video.
Yeah,
I didn't mean it that way.
Well, you're probably right, mate. The evidence does.
I meant your persistence and your competitive side. Not you were actually a dickhead. But
well.
Little column B.
If a cat fits, mate. If a cat fits, but
So anyway, people, you would have booked to stay down there anyway.
Yeah, that was it. So, I booked to stay down there. I thought there were a couple of lads from Matt House competing. There was only one lad, but obviously we saw Matty as well, who we used to train with. And I was like, fuck it, I'll go down. I'll get warmed up in the morning, and I'll see how I feel then in the moment. And like, obviously, if you're there and warmed up, I was like, you know what, the brackets have been made. Even if I only get my first match and then have to say, sorry guys, it's too much. You said that. You said if you felt it too much, you said at least you'd actually tap. And I was like, this fella's telling me complete bare-faced lies. Squish sent me a sick message on the morning, to be fair, beforehand. And was like, look mate, be sensible. Like if it does really start going wrong, like just stop. He's like, there's no point putting yourself off the mats for 4 to 6 months with a fully broken rib or something, worst case like punctured lung or something like that, because you wanted to do the Brighton Open, because you wanted to have a plastic medal. It's not world. I haven't actually had the quality test back on that medal yet, but I think it's slightly denser. There's some sort of metal in it. Slightly denser than plastic, but it's still, you know what I mean. It's not worth. It's not world. It's not. It's not your profession. It's not worth fucking yourself up for. Maybe losing time from work, losing income over that. But he was like, but if the rib holds up, you fucking do what you've got to do.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was like, yeah, cool. So you were obviously there, mate, and big up to you and Bobby Churchhouse.
Yeah, well, shout out to Bobby because I thought he was going to flake on me.
Yeah, the Mr. 99 himself. He's a bit of a flag. He's half a flag. He's not a full flag, to be fair to him. No, much love to you guys coming down, and like, you know, my Mrs. Holly as well. Like, it does make a difference having people in the crowd. Like, as I said last episode, I've never competed without
a good crowd,
a little army of Mat House people with me. So this was like the smallest in numbers I went down, but having, you know, people that you know there, it gives you that little bit of dig deep. And
I'll be honest with you, I probably would have flaked if you were on any time later than you were on.
Yeah, but the fact it was,
you were 10 o'clock in the morning first match, it was fantastic.
Which was absolutely perfect, because to be honest, if I sat around and thought about it all day and I was down in Brighton, I might have just been like, you know what, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah,
but because it was first, like, I barely warmed up. You saw I just got my blood.
A couple of jumping jacks and just get yourself moving.
A few star jumps and a couple of, like, you know, wrestling shots, and I was like, right, that's me good to go. I didn't want to risk tweaking the rib in the wall. Yeah. And
so they wouldn't actually leave. I was hoping, because I had said earlier that, like, I was joking about the OnlyFans thing, but I wasn't joking about actually trying to document it. And I actually had I was between two minds about it, because, like, I know how in the zone you get and how competitive you are, and in my mind I was like, lads, if he loses his first match and I stick the phone in his face and say, well, how do you feel now, Ken? Do you know, just for content, I'd say, like, you tell me to get the fuck off. So I was just dreading this, but then they didn't allow me come in, which actually annoyed me, because I still wanted to do it, but obviously we've great hopes and dreams for things that I say I'm going to do.
We'll be on OnlyFans at some point.
But
yeah, the thing that no one ever wanted. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah, everyone's like, why are you going to go OnlyFans? Why don't you just set up a Patreon? And I'm like, well, like, why the fuck would I? Like, it's way more fun to say you have an OnlyFans account. You know what I mean? Like, people are already thinking you're a fucking weirdo when they don't really know you. Just like you have an OnlyFans, it just adds an extra layer of what would you call it?
Eccentricity,
something like that. Yeah, some fancy word like that.
Weirdness. But yeah, actually, you were speaking about them not letting you in. So yeah, the venues for the Brighton Open is cool. Like, for anyone that's not,
it was very well done as well.
It's at the old Hilton Metropole on Brighton seafront, so you've got this quite a big, grandiose sort of setting, and then they've got, like, it's kind of not a balcony. It's like a second story with a big hole in the middle, and you've got 8 mats there. Competitors only go through from the kind of warm up, weigh in, chilling area. There's 2 big rooms for that. It's, to be honest, in terms of
it's very well run
space, and, you know, getting around, and, you know, not finding your way from point A to point B. That was wicked. Granted, I was on first, so there was no way it could run late, which is a real bane of mine at tournaments. So, like, I loved being on first. If I could ever choose more the time, unfortunately you never get the option, but if I could ever choose, I'd go on early again. But yeah, not just the way it was run, I quite like the grandioseness of the setting, having everyone in the balcony, like the balcony section or on the second floor looking down, was a really cool vibe. But
I was getting some looks when I was shouting out at you. It was actually fantastic.
Yeah, because we were on first as well. I think the top 4 mats were the kids mats. I think
they were just finishing before. Did they finish?
No, the kids mats started at 10 o'clock. So I think they had the top 4 mats as kids mats, and then on the next 4 they started running the adults. But yeah, so obviously first match, feeling the best I feel all day, to be honest. It was rapidly downhill from there. But we slap and bump and tie up, and from the onset it was clear the fella wanted to wrestle. I'm going to give a little disclaimer. Obviously, guys, this is a blue belt's reading of a blue belt jiu-jitsu match. This isn't like, you're not getting to get some technical insight. I'm not like thinking that I'm going to give you some overview, or you guys really want to know what what I was aiming for or what I was thinking. But my thoughts are, you're listening to the podcast, so you obviously like a bit of me and Mike chatting some shit. Secondly, a lot of the guys, who are hobbyists that compete like me and you, might be nice to hear someone going through the
someone that might be in the same situation or maybe thinking about it, so it might give them a little insight into how we might feel.
And thirdly, it will act as a word of warning to anyone that's thinking of competing semi-injured. Just sit that one out.
Yeah, because I asked you today, and actually, how you're feeling now, but we'll get into that as well. So first match.
First match. Yeah, sorry, I'm segueing or getting sidetracked massively. So first match, from the slap and bump. Very clear he wants to wrestle. He's trying to clear my arms and get in on the legs. So I kind of didn't really let it. I was considering just letting him take me down and taking the points to get to guard and play off my back, which was my strength. But also everyone had been conditioning me when we were at Matt's house on Saturday, like, do not play off your back with a bad rib, because like it's only going to get worse, especially, you know, trying to bring your knees to your chest to play guard, like that range of motion really fucks with it. So so I was like, fuck it, no. Ended up snapping him down, and I think we went back and forth. We went back and forth there a bit, where he was trying to wrestle and I was snapping him down. Eventually, I pulled and went for a sweep. And this was an issue in like one of my first ever comps. Was I swept someone 3 times but didn't come up for points at all. Yeah. But that's something which is in my past that I've drilled the hell out of coming up for points. But so I swept him. As he went down, I go to pop up for the points. Rib goes. Yeah. So I have to sit back down. Like I go halfway through the stand up and I'm like, no, can't do that. So I end up back on my ass in a kind of sort of 50-50 position.
I remember that, yeah.
50-50 position.
You're both kind of fighting for position there.
Yeah, and then he goes for a foot lock, and I'm like, right, I know I can get my foot flat to the mat, so we can't finish it. It was really like no insults. He definitely doesn't listen. I haven't seen Jogveer Singh pop up in the comments, but it was a sloppy footlock, and I was like, right, I can use this to build up and pass. So I come up slowly using grips rather than just popping up from using the momentum from the sweep. So I'm protecting the rib while I do it. I'll
throw the matches into the WhatsApp group if anyone who isn't.
Throw all of them in. Throw all 3 of them in. Like so people can watch along while they listen to this thrilling commentary.
We should really be, if it was a professional podcast, we'd be watching it while you're talking about it.
We'd have the videos, but anyone that's listened for anyone that's listened for at least half an episode knows this ain't a professional podcast. So come up, end up scoring the pass. Didn't get the sweep. Ended up scoring for a pass, get 3 points, and then he comes back up to turtle. I'm really struggling with the ribs by this point already, and I'm like, right, okay. I'm not really sure how it ended up with me back in guard. I think from turtle he tried to stand back up, and I was like, I'm not doing this again. So ended up in guard. Guys watched the video, but somehow I ended up in guard. He ended up getting past. Most of the people that rolled with me in Matt House will know that from side control, that reversal. It's something I hit on. Everybody, on most people the first time I roll with them. I catch.
You still get me every now and again.
I catch them in a transition and catch them by surprise. But once they've rolled with me a couple of times, it's old news, and they know how to shut it down. But in comps, it works quite well because people, as they're settling in side control. Reversal came to knee on face. The fella had his hand tight, so I couldn't get to a proper knee on belly. So I just switched to the other knee and put knee on face. Whilst doing that, shelved his arm and managed to sit back for an arm bar.
It was very nice actually. It looked very calculated as well, because I know the way you're saying it. It seems like you've ran through emotions of doing it, but it was actually very technical and methodical as you moved through it. It didn't really happen all in one motion of this happening. It was a work thing where you worked and played your position, I think.
It's definitely something I've drilled a lot, and keeping that arm shelved.
I think that arm bar is something you've caught me with a couple of times as well from that position as well. So.
I went for the alternative is where you spin onto the opposite arm if you can get the underhook rather than shelving the near side arm. But
you might be spinning with the rib as well.
So anyway, I hit that, which was nice. Huge adrenaline boost from winning the first match. So
I actually, after you went off the first match, just got into but we were like, well done and all that, and I was just saying, I could see you on the side and you were talking away to the guy, the guy you just competed against, and there's a couple of other guys there, and you kind of had a chat, and then you were just standing on your own, and the other match went on, and I could just see you, and I could just see you holding your rib, and I was like, your rib's fucked. Because it didn't seem like, I have to say, like at no point through that part of the match did it look like it had actually affected from fucking a second floor looking down at the first floor.
And to be honest, watching the recording back, like I've watched that, and I've watched the 201. I've watched bits of the other one. I haven't watched it through as one piece yet because I've seen mostly the short clips of it that Holly took. But it didn't look like it had impacted me that much. But in the time I definitely felt it most was when I went to come up from that sweep. I felt it pop again. Anyway, won that one by submission. Felt great going into the next one, and It was against the semi-final was against the lad that eventually got bronze, and he was. I had a good foot on him probably. Like, I'm only 6'1", or 6 foot. I claim 6'1". I'm 6 foot and about half an inch, but I must have had maybe nearly a foot on him. But he was strong as fuck. It was a really, really good little fight. That was one where I pulled straight away. Just old habits die hard. I know I told everyone I was going to try and wrestle this time. I'm going to try and do some judo, but no, pulled guard and
got takedown.
Yeah, ended up getting a sweep. And it was. I felt like once I was on top, the guy didn't have too much to give me. No, it was knee on belly, spin to the opposite side, come into mount, and it was pretty.
You were collecting points like fucking Sonic the Hedgehog running through a fucking level, just grabbing coins like.
Pretty plain sailing. And at one point they reset us in the middle of the mat.
I thought that was so stupid.
When we weren't even close to going out of bounds, but for some reason he moved us back into the middle of the mat, and he got the reset position was with the fella's hands. I can't remember the guy's name sadly, but with his hands on my hips, which to my memory isn't exactly how the position was paused in. But anyway. I'm not here to moan about the reffing. Like, those guys give up their weekend, and it's a blue belt match. It's not the world's finals. I'm not competing at IBJJF. I pay £50 maximum registration. I'm not expecting world class reffing. You know. But anyway, in that reset, as I kind of sunk back into mount to get my hips low, he just was pushing on the rib. So at that point, I was like, right, I need to get this over with, because we just got. I think there was probably about a minute maybe left on the clock at that point. So I came off to knee on belly, went for like a far side armbar, the spin, the opposite to the one I got in the other round.
I'd actually said to you, just keep collecting points, don't go for the submit. I don't know if you could, obviously you're
I heard it in the replay, and I was like, yeah, he was right. He was definitely right. And that was the biggest learning from this tournament was like, never sacrifice position. And I know there was always position before submission.
Yeah, but fuck that. You want to get a bit.
But you know, I knew it was hurting, and like, you know, he was feeling strong on the bottom as well. It looked like he was like, you know, I definitely wasn't going to be able to hold him in mount, so that's why I hopped up to knee on belly and then went for the submission. But didn't finish it. He defended really well. Looking at it, I obviously made some mistakes in the finishing as well, but not taking credit away from him. He's finishing really well. I realise I've not got the armbar, so I look up at the clock and I'm like, oh, I've only got 37 seconds left. I was like, what's going to happen in 37 seconds? And kind of, as I go to turn back to guard, he's already shot his hand under, and he's kind of from cross collar, because I've gone belly down for the armbar. As he's pulled his arm out, I've looked up at the clock to turn back into him with guard, but he's already kind of half behind, followed me, kind of stayed half behind me, shot the grip and gone for like a, I think it was similar to a bow and arrow.
Yeah, it's the same kind of cross collar across the neck.
He's only got one grip, and he's throwing one leg over my opposite shoulder, so it's like a deep grip, and he's got a grip on the leg, and I went to just classic defence, 2-on-1, pulled the choking arm down, and realised I was like, fuck, this is actually really deep.
That's why I was.
By this point, we've kind of our positions spun, so I've got no idea how long's left on the clock, but it can't be more than like 25 seconds. I go to kind of try and kick the hand that's controlling my leg off, but he had a really good control of that, so I couldn't do my normal turn out the opposite way either. So in terms of like, at that point of a competition,
I think if we were editing it would be like, at this point he knew he was fucked.
Yeah, it was one of those where it was like, right, I've got no escapes here. Yeah, this choke is pretty deep. I really like I was getting to the snorty part of breath, so
that's why I just started roaring. Like the very minute I into it, I just started roaring the time, because I said,
from about 20 seconds out, you started roaring it. I took 2 deep, like snorty breaths to try and get what little air I could in. Yeah. And then from that point onwards, I had no breath in or out. And I was saying to the fella afterwards, I was like, I just started breathing through my ears. But like the ref locked eye contact with me, and I was like just moving one of my legs to show that I was still kind of in it. Yeah. And from about 4 seconds out, I lost hearing you guys as well, because I could hear you shouting through the countdown, and that was one of the things that was keeping me going.
I said he's 20-1 up, and that's what I'm saying. I knew you were stubborn out, and I said, if I can just shout this at him and he can fight it, I said, I know he'll hold it. And I hadn't even thought of the possibility of you going out. It hadn't even occurred to me.
Oh,
and you were like, yeah, I would have went out, mate.
No, it was. I'd made the decision when, like, I'm not going to tap when I'm 20 odd up, and it's if it was like a joint lock or something, I'm not letting the shit break. But when it's a choke, and I know because of the injury, I'm probably going to be off the mats for a bit anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not going away knowing that I've thrown away a lead of that much for a quick win. But yeah, thankfully, through, I don't know, maybe my years of, like, I don't know. Smoking,
you're just a stubborn guy.
Smoking,
I don't care what way you want to put it out.
Years of stubbornness, years of, like, I don't know.
And when I say that now, obviously it's in jest. Like I'd actually say it's 60% your competitive mindset. Like, because I know the way. Don't be taking this in the wrong way, and I know you won't, because, like, but like your mindset is a lot, like, you have a lot more of a competitive mindset than I have.
I don't like to think I do, but every time I get involved,
that's not enough.
Every time I get involved in anything remotely competitive, I turn into
that's not a knock either. Like, I mean, a lot of people would love to have that. Like, I don't have that switch I can turn on. I mean, I know if you talk about your third match in a minute, but, like, when the first time, a couple of times I competed, it was easy breezy, no bother. And I think when I did Bournemouth, I'd weighed in, and the other guy still hadn't weighed in because it was a shit show of a fucking place, and they were literally weighing people in as they were walking on the mats, like, and they were calling him to weigh him in, and I was fine, no bother. And next thing is like, where is he? Our two names are there. I said, what's going on? Oh, he's over there weighing in. I was like, all right. And then I just started getting this whole anxiety fucking issue, like, and I was like, I went up to the boys and said, lads, I'm fucking, Bobby was there, and I think Matt the Mountain, and someone else, and Dean from Impact was there, and a few more of them, because they were competing as well. And I was like, I don't know what's going on with me. Like, I'm actually feeling a bit nervous, like, and the first time ever. And I had headphones with me. And
what comp was this?
Bournemouth.
Yeah, sorry, what number for you?
Three,
you're still a white belt, right?
Yeah, it was white belt. Yeah, I think it was number 3.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it was actually crippling, like, kind of a bit. I just actually had to put on my earphones, put on some music, and just close my eyes for, like, just 15 seconds even, and it squared me away, like. And I ended up winning that first match as well, which was nice, and lost second one by cross collar choke. But I'd never had that kind of anxiety as to, like, I was just like, look, what's the worst that's going to happen, is the way I kind of approach it, and it was just, when you were in between these matches now, like, how we'll say, when the first one got out, what were you like before the first one?
Before the first one, because I knew I was injured. To be honest, having you guys there, like, warming up in that side room and just then being called straight on pretty much was fine, because I didn't have too much time to build it up.
Think about it, yeah.
Yeah, like, for me, the waiting round's the worst part. Like,
yeah, I agree.
At the last comp in the Absolute for the bronze match, where they fucked up the running order, so they ended up putting us on halfway between two no-gi matches about nearly an hour after the main bracket, the rest of the bracket had run.
Yeah.
I was just like, I do not want to be here anymore. So maybe it wasn't an hour, maybe it was half an hour, 40 minutes, but still.
Felt like an hour.
From my first match to that was an hour with the other matches in between in the Absolute. And it was one of those where it's like, that maybe was a bit different. That wasn't kind of anxiety. That was just like, fuck this. I've already, had. I think that was.
You're just done with the day.
I think that was my 7th match on the day or something like that as well, 6th or 7th, and I was just like.
You just had enough.
I'm malnourished. I just want to have a pint at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the waiting round is the worst for me, because I'll get in my own head and build it up. Even if it's not anxiety about the competition, I'll be thinking about other things. Like you say, I am quite competitive in a sense that I want to do well. So there's that. Obviously, I do try and make some sacrifices in the run up to a comp as well, in terms of, like, to get, not just to get my weight down, but in terms of going on the sesh. I know it's great for my health, but I knock that on the head for a bit. So it's like, sometimes if you have a really shit run out, you feel like, was it worth all the sacrifice? And that's kind of what I was feeling last week when my rib went. I was like, for fuck's sake, I've gone
5 weeks without
5 weeks living like a saint pretty much since Killarney.
Yeah.
And then frustrations aside, made it to the final.
There was a point where he was stacking you.
In the final?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, nah, he's fucked. And then, I might be misremembering, he was obviously you were on your back and he was trying to fight, and there was a point where he got, I don't know, was it knee on belly or was he in side control, but he came across.
Yeah, it was like
and his knee slided kind of across your chest, and he got into, and I just seen, like, I said, I just watched his leg kind of slice across, and I went, Ken's fucked. And I went, what? I said, did you see how he just got mount there? I said, that's going to be some fucking pain. And I think people, I'd say, put the matches in, I think there's a point where you can just see you're just static. It's you know, and
yeah.
like, it's not.
I mean,
as you said, you're not knocking. Sorry,
I don't want to take.
We're not knocking the other guy either.
I don't want to take anything away from him, and you know, it's not a thing I mentioned on the day to anyone. Like
he did. You didn't say it to anyone.
You know, afterwards, Bobby, like when we were waiting for the podium, Bobby was like, "How's your rib?" I was like, "We'll talk about it later." I didn't want to. I didn't want to seem like I was taking anything away. But now I'm off the mats and on the podcast, I'm going to tell you. I don't want to say I'd have won, but all I will say is it would have been a different match. You know?
This is this competitive mindset.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course, he'd probably still smashed me. He was really good. He was good. You know, he obviously worked hard and he had his game. But you know, from the point that I was mounted, I couldn't really. Yeah, I'm making excuses, but it's mine and Mike's podcast.
Yeah, If he wants to say he'd slaughter you either way, he can have his own fucking podcast.
Look, honestly. It could have very easily gone the same way the other way round. However, it went one way, you know, and it got to the point where he was so far up on points. He got that. I think it was about 30 seconds left, and he got a cross collar, and I was like, "There's no way I'm holding off." You know, I probably could have, you know, pinched his elbows.
You still would have lost on points, though.
Could have pinched his elbows and stopped him finishing it for 30 seconds. But the way he dragged it across my face, and it was like. I was already feeling fucked. He was putting a lot of pressure on through mounted through the ribs, and I was.
But that's what he's supposed to do.
And
he was doing his job right. Like.
I heard the message from Squish like replayed in my head, and it's like, you know what? If you'd have told me last night when I was sat thinking about pulling out that I could come in, stay and get silver, I'd have bitten your hand off for it. So yeah, maybe I gave up a little bit too early. Maybe I should have given up earlier. Who knows? I still can't train because of how fucked they are. But overall, mate, I think it was a good job.
No. Look, to be fair, I mean, personally, myself, I think even if, just say there was nothing wrong with your rib and you got that result, I'd be happy with it, especially your second match.
Yeah.
I mean, to have a match like that, just to go down and compete for the day, I mean, I've gone to competitions and lost 2 matches or whatever it was, like, and just went down for the day and lost both matches. I mean, I'd won in the gi, or maybe lost 3 matches, you know, I mean, we are hobbyists at the end of the day, but like, I mean, we love the fucking thing, like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's the beauty with jiu-jitsu is like, you don't need to be you don't even need to be a decent competitor. You can be absolute dog shit and you can still go and have a good day out and you know, get some scraps, like, you know, and feel like, you know.
You do. Everyone should compete. Everyone should compete.
Like, you go to the bigger comps as well. You might not want to do some of the small regional ones for sure if you just want to see what it's like. You know, people that are local to us, Surrey's coming up at the end of July. That's a really good like first sort of tournament, and then after that, you know, there's the All Stars in Fleet. Definitely look them up. But yeah, like even if you do some of the slightly bigger ones, you know, you'll see. I don't know if you probably not you because you're not that into the sport, but you will see black belts that you know, whether they're there coaching their lads or whether they're there competing.
As you say that, there was a guy at Bellator.
Yeah, he was on the match
next year.
One mat or 2 mats over. Yeah. He's signed for Bellator.
I seen him there. I had some crack if he listened to the podcast. He looked like the biggest prick ever, being inside with sunglasses on. And I said it to you. I said, "Who is that?" I think he is sunglasses on.
I forget his name. I really shouldn't to shout it because but he shared a reel and it was like Operation Piss Take. So I think it was all a kind of joke and a facade because, like, you had a pair of Gucci sunglasses on from the moment you walked through the door.
They're the darkest, biggest ones you could get, something some bird from Essex would wear on fucking the TV or something. But I was like, who do you think he is? And Bobby goes, or was it you? He goes, he's black belt, mate. He can do whatever he wants. Something, I think it might have been Bobby. Sounds like a Bobby-ism, but no, he fucking he annihilated him.
Yeah,
he was fucking right good.
Gold, didn't he? He's proper good. Yeah, he's signed or was signed to Bellator.
He's a Bellator fighter. Yeah.
Oh, he is. Yeah, cool. Yeah. I can't remember his name, but big up.
Big up Tony Franson.
I had seen his thing, but yeah, after the one of the things I actually forgot to tell you was I was so like I don't want to say bell was rung because that's like a boxing phrase, but I was so out of it after the second fight with the choke.
Yeah.
I don't remember getting my hand raised. All I remember is walking off the mat. It obviously happened.
Yeah.
But all I remember is just making a beeline off the mat and slumping down behind the judges, drinking some water and just being like, just breathing. And being like, this feels great.
That's the most impressive thing I've seen in a long time. Anyway, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't like in one breath I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm kind of glad that like. But also...
Man, that's a cool highlight reel, like, fucking either way.
No, someone fucking choking the shit out of you is not a cool highlight reel. I feel like I'm annoyed, as much as I'm glad that we've got this story to tell, I'm annoyed that I'm fucked up enough to put myself in that position.
Yeah, but, because from your perspective, if it was the other way around, don't take this as a knock either, I'd say you'd probably say, if the fucking timer wasn't there, he would have went out.
Of course I would. And to be fair, I did tell him that afterwards. I was like, you don't get any closer than that without finishing it. I was like, it was fully in, and you just ran out of time.
You're fully humble. Like I do a lot of piss taking, and I take a lot of jabs.
Not that humble. Like, but 5 minutes ago, I was like, if my rib wasn't injured, I'd have won gold.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was good. Anyone from the UK that's thinking about doing any of the BJJ247 events, they do Manchester, Newcastle, London, and Brighton.
Did you get a fucking sponsorship or something?
No, I just this whole reason we do this is to shout out small locals, and yeah, obviously.
I actually have to give. I was saying I was at Carlson Gracie's, obviously Farnborough on the Tuesday, and I was saying the young lad kicked the shit out of me. I don't know did I say that on the podcast, but I had told everyone anyway, and I was a bit disappointed. And then next thing, I ended up following him. I met him down there.
You saw him in Brighton.
I saw him. He was warming up after you were collecting your medal. He was warming up, and I just went over and gave him a fist bump and said, because he standing guillotined me.
The one you talked about a couple of weeks back.
So I said to him, make sure and hit him with that standing guillotine. But he followed me on Instagram. Lads, that young fella is an absolute freak of nature, as in he's a force to be reckoned with.
He's definitely one to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, his old man Taylor, I think is his name. Yeah,
is what?
Taylor, I think is his name. I could be wrong. I know it's a T, but I'd say his first name is Taylor.
Yeah, we'll have to actually, all these people we think about that we forget to shout out, we should do redactions in following.
Oh yeah, actually, while we're on that.
Speaking of redactions, I think you've got one to make.
I'm going to apologise to Owen Livesley about his what I said about him being a brown
belt. Mike's retarded, and if ever this gets back to you or anyone that Mike has shamelessly slandered in previous episodes, like, he's not very good at remembering names or faces. So if he confuses
or jiu-jitsu techniques,
so if he confuses people, just assume he's talking. If he ever insults you, just assume he's talking about someone else. Yeah, you said about him getting his black belt really quickly.
No, I thought I seen this thing online somewhere. Is what happened, and it was actually someone else. I can't remember who it is. But it was
again,
it was just a thing, and I thought that.
But yeah, no, Luke shouted us the day after and was like, "He's been training longer than I have." Yeah. And I was like, yeah, but I did think there was something up with that. I was glad I tried to offer some sort of balance.
No, but I was just saying maybe he got it fast. I wasn't trying to say he was fast tracked either. It's just me and my bad way of explaining things as well. Which, if you've listened for 13, which this will be 14 episodes, or if you've met me in person for fucking an hour, you've definitely got
10 minutes.
You've got an idea of.
I've got an idea, but yeah.
How I hit my head's like a sieve, and I didn't mean to. I never coming after anyone, because especially of where I stand in the jiu-jitsu community and my level of where I am, I would never intentionally fucking have a go at anyone.
No, I know.
It's not my place.
I think everyone knows that nothing that's said is ill-intentioned.
I did message Lucas back though, and I said, fuck them all, I'm doubling down. And he goes, I respect that, Mike, but you want to shut the fuck up, kind of, more or less.
yeah, humour. But, so obviously we spent a few days away after the comp, which I actually really appreciated. Obviously I'm going to be off the mats anyway. I really struggle with not training while I'm away. Like, I normally take a gi with me and hop into a local gym, but it was nice to have an enforced break. And sadly I do think it's going to be early next week before I'm able to do much. I might do some light kettlebells tomorrow just to see how it feels under movement. How it feels moving under load. But
if I was you, I'd just give it the weekend.
I might rest it up and see how it feels.
Then go lightly back into it, because you are only giving it a week, like, and you don't want to pull it again. And
But yeah, it's not nice to have a rest and focus on some other things. But like,
life admin.
You sent through, speaking of like jiu-jitsu and travel in terms of like being away and training, you sent through a link to, I think, was it the...
Oh yeah, so the Limerick Globetrotter, Andrew, who we've mentioned loads of times, Human Jiu-Jitsu, check out his podcast.
Seems like a friend of the podcast at this point. We need to have
we never actually had a conversation in person, but I'm
DMing... I assumed you had.
No, I'm DMing him the whole time, and I've had a couple of voice and stuff.
Oh, you've had like digital...
Yeah.
Digital conversations, just never a telephone. So I think you sent a screenshot of a camp that he was at called Utopia, and like
it's in Greece, yeah.
Yeah, just to give a rough overview of what this camp is. It runs from 7:15 in the morning till 10:30 at night.
There is a break there. The thing I was looking at that, I think there's a lunchtime break for about 2 hours.
There is a break, but it's like 7:15 to 8 yoga, and then you've got. Then you've got an hour of somebody showing technique, and then you've got half an hour of positional sparring. You've got half an hour of technique, 15 minutes of sparring, and that repeats, and then you've got open mat for what looks like an hour, and then you've got a break, and then you've got the same again for the entire afternoon until yoga at the end, which is in terms of the amount of content in a day is epic, but I struggle to take in a technique that has more than 3 steps to it when I'm at training. So
I don't think it's that kind of a thing. I think it's more of a...
Do people come and go from like different sessions, or would you stay for the whole day and do the whole thing?
In my mind, if you were going for that, now this is just me fucking with my brain, I don't think you'd be going there to learn anything as such, even though there's a lot of big names. So that Owen O'Flanagan is there.
Yeah.
There's a couple of the, look, no point in me start fucking going on about jiu-jitsu names because I don't have but like that
look
as a gammy fella that Zach was on about, he does the drills on YouTube, on Instagram. He was there. There's a load of top guys there, and I think they do an instructional for 15 minutes, and then it's like half an hour sparring.
Yeah, it's like half an hour of instruction, 15 minutes.
But it's like he's there I've seen him doing it over for about 3 days. So that was just one day, But I think it's more of the kind of I think it's more of just going for the crack of being around these people and being around like-minded.
That's what I was really going to ask, was what's your opinion on these jiu-jitsu camps?
I think it's absolutely class.
Yeah.
But
I've seen there's a lot more coming up and about, obviously with the growth of jiu-jitsu, and to be fair to the guys that run it, why wouldn't you want to go to an exotic location for 3-4 days and do some jiu-jitsu?
I'd like to drink more in between, that's it. I mean, I'm not going to go do jiu-jitsu. Look, you're not going to get me leave my house on a Saturday and not have a pint after fucking 1 o'clock without an hour passing, let alone doing fucking 19 hours of jiu-jitsu and fucking having a break in the middle. I'd be saying, let's go for a beer and then let's go back on the mats. Now obviously you can't get too fucked up, but I mean, it just seems like, it actually seems like a really good idea, but me being me, and you can be fucking stereotypical Irishman if you want, it needs more, and maybe it's the DJing as well, I think a little bit of a session in between would be.
I think that's why smoking's so often paired with.
Yeah, because you can just go in and roll.
Because you have a little zoot or something, and then have a little roll. It doesn't feel as hazardous as. I'm not going to lie, Michael. I don't want you anywhere. I don't want you anywhere near me sober. But unfortunately,
maybe I get more flowy with drinking.
Unfortunately, we're two good mates to say no, I'm not rolling with you. But after a couple of
fucking hell, it's all coming out.
Oh, I'm joking.
I think what's after happening is you're after taking this competition stuff where I said I'm not taking jabs at you while I take jabs at you. I think you're just after returning something there.
I don't know about that. Maybe it's the truth. Maybe it's exaggerated for humour. But either way, like yourself or anyone, I've got no interest in rolling with someone that I know's had a couple of drinks for a plethora of reasons. But same as I'm not really going to get in a motor with someone who's had 3 or 4 drinks either. Michael,
it just went. Is this thing on?
Might look so scared to clear across the room. I wouldn't. I value my health too much. But it just seems like it's an accident waiting to happen. But yeah, with those camps, I don't know. I think it's a cool thing to do. Go away, but it's a tough sell, isn't it? It's a tough sell to the missus. What do you do? Do you take her with you, or do you say, babe, staying at home? I'm going to go jiu-jitsu with the boys in Tenerife for 4 days.
I'll be honest with you. What I'd probably do if I was considering doing that, either way, I'd do the first half of the day jiu-jitsu and I bunk the rest off and I go drinking, and then I come in again the next day and do the first half. That would be my ideal holiday, because I'm getting to do the 2 things I love, which is jiu-jitsu and drinking.
Yeah, I think from the I don't know. I think, like you say, that would be a wicked day, and I know that some of the lads that we train with have gone and done those camps away as well, and have had a really really good time doing it.
One of the lads was, I can't think of his name. I shouldn't be saying that, but he was there lately, and I can't remember which camp he went to. Obviously, this is me with my.
One of the guys we train with.
Yeah, I find out. We'll get details. We can talk about it maybe. After
if you're thinking about Elliot, it will need to be a while away because he's in the States for the whole of.
No, he's back. This lad's back from the camp.
Okay.
We'll have a chat anyway. I'll
Fantastic podcast content talking about potential future
do you know guests. This guy who I don't know.
Neither of him remember. Well, neither of us know his name. But yeah, I mean, for me, that, to be honest, the backpacking trip wasn't the perfect balance because obviously the jiu-jitsu was so sporadic. But that for me is a better balance where you make jiu-jitsu part of your normal holiday rather than
it's not the complete
go
holiday.
Away just to do jiu-jitsu. But if I was 10 years younger and if I was single, would I want to go to one of those things? Probably. It looks like a wicked fucking trip, and it looks like the B team one that Craig Jones did over in Thailand recently looks wild as well. So yeah, keep your eyes out for those. But I don't think I'll be on one of them shortly. I was thinking about what I was saying last week as well, because a couple of people asked me. When I was saying about, I think like the subtle banger session, the sessions that you don't expect to be up to much, and then you go there and you're just like, wow, this is phenomenal. The sessions when you're having a shit day and you're like, I'll drag myself there, and it just turns out to be. What do you mean by that? And I mean, like, I think for those camps that could be the opposite for me, because you go in with so many expectations. That like
you actually have a higher idea of what's going to happen.
And we're always like New Year's Eve. It's a shit night because everyone tries to load it up and tries to make more of it than it is. Like that. It would have the potential to be that for me, and obviously this comes from a place of ignorance, as two of us have never been to one of these. But like, I feel like if your expectations are well high, the only way they can go is either it meets your expectations or fails to meet them. Whereas if you go in with zero, which is like kind of when I just threw a gi in the bottom of my bag
and tore off
off to South America, which I was going to do anyway. I had zero expectations, and it ended up being one of the kind of like coolest little things
you've probably ever done.
Things that I've done. One of those sessions, speaking about the subtle bangers, that I meant to tell this story last week, but I ended up talking about one of Squish's classes, which is obviously such a testament to Squish's classes. Thursday mornings.
Oh, you don't love that.
Thursdays mornings at Matt House, if you want to do some improvised yoga and then learn some jiu-jitsu. Squish is your man. But it was in this between, because I told the story about Sao Paulo where I couldn't afford really to train in the premium gym, so I ended up training in like one in a kind of more arty, like hipster neighbourhood. And then I told you guys about Curitiba when I ended up being like set up by the coach and ended up training with the kids. So in between that, I actually went right inland to this place called Foz do Iguaçu, which is like on the border of Paraguay, Argentina, and Brazil. Obviously, Brazil's I've come from Sao Paulo. I've got like this 20-hour bus across Brazil.
Okay.
Like these buses are like I don't know if I've talked about them on an earlier episode. They're like almost like being on a plane. You have like a little curtain section that you get your own bit off, and you can put it at a full 180 degrees, so the seat can go down.
Because they're all like buses like this. They're set up for this kind of travelling.
It's designed for like people who can't afford to fly to be able to do cross country travel, and they're pretty affordable on a Westerner's budget. They're very affordable, and I ended up in this town and in Brazil. You're going to the small town of Foz do Iguaçu. There's 250,000 people population.
It's small town.
I was expecting a small town somewhere in the UK where you've got one high street and a few shops, but I pull in there and there's skyscrapers and stuff. But what it's for is the I think the biggest waterfall in the world, or the most volume of water that flows through a waterfall. It's not like Niagara Falls or Angel Falls, which are one fall. Like the Iguaçu Falls are loads and loads of waterfalls that link together. It's a really, really cool thing to see, because it's like as far as the eye can see up the river is all waterfalls, and it's mad. But that's pretty much the beauty of it. That's the attraction to go and see that. The reason that tourists go to that area is because you can be stood on a tri-border area where you can go from Paraguay, which is famous for, I think, black market body parts and
Going to say cocaine.
and electronics. So a lot of people from Argentina and Brazil go there to get cheap knockoff electronics, but also for the tourism of this natural beauty. And it was one of those days. I was only in town for 2 days to see 3 days actually, to see the waterfalls and kind of just catch a connection out of there. And I met loads of other as you always do at hostels, met loads of other backpackers. And on one of those days, so we'd been to see the waterfalls from like the Argentine and the Brazilian. You can see it from 2 sides. So I'd seen it from both sides. And on the 3rd day, this group of guys I was travelling with were like, going to go back there, and we're going to go like see something again, or go back there to do it from another side. And it was like, we were having a good crack, and we'd been drinking and stuff the night before, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll probably go with them. And it started like being the weather wasn't great. And I was like, you know what?
I don't fancy this at all.
I'll just see what's going on. So Google jiu-jitsu in the area, and there was one that was about a mile and a half away, 2 miles away, and it was like a public holiday. It was too short notice or I did message them and didn't get a reply. It was one of those, and it was a public holiday as well in Brazil, and I was like, fuck it. What am I going to do? Do I just sack off the idea of training and go and have some drinks and enjoy like chill time with these guys? So you know what, I'm going to roll the dice. They've got an open mat in their calendar. Well, they had a class in their calendar. I was like, I'm going to go. So I take this walk across this town in Brazil, and the gym looked like it was almost like an old school sort of boxing gym. Like it wasn't a lot of the other gyms that I trained at in Rio and in Sao Paulo and in the other towns and villages. Like obviously the one in Ilha Grande was a little bit unique because of where it was, but this was like a freestanding, would have been a warehouse or something at some point that had been converted into a kind of like jiu-jitsu and martial arts gym. I'll send you a photo of it so you can.
I was going to say about the waterfalls if you had them as well.
Yeah, I put all of them up, but it was like it had a weird vibe to it. It wasn't like part of it was on the edge like of a kind of industrial estate with some calm like workshops and stuff around it. It wasn't like a residential area. I was like,
what am I getting myself into
obviously
here?
It's Brazil, and like, I've been in Brazil for about 2 months at this point. So
is this where they cut the body parts off?
So I've got well cocky in terms of like going places that when I was in Rio, I was super careful, and then as I travelled through South America, I got gradually more complacent, and I'll tell more stories about that at a later date. But as I was like, oh fuck it, no one's going to come here. It was about 15 minutes after the scheduled start of the class. I'm leaving. Some fella pulls up on a motorbike with a little gi rolled up on the back, and then it was like it was like something out of a corny movie. Like everybody's rocking up on different vehicles. Like one guy rocks up on like a fucking tractor or something. One guy's in like this banged out old jalopy, but they all like step out with their gis over their shoulders. There were a couple of black belts and then a mix of other belts, and none of them spoke a fucking word of English. And then
fantastic.
And then thankfully the fella that had been smoking a cigarette on his motorcycle, the first one that turned up that had just been like scoping me out the entire time, strolls over and starts translating for us, and turns out he's a blue belt that had trained at Roger's place when he was over visiting the UK. And then we ended up doing a weird warm up that was like a mix of calisthenics. So imagine you're told to hold a yoga pose for like a minute, and then it's like 10 press-ups, counting in Portuguese. So like each person would take a turn to count 10. Yeah. Fuck, this is, like, I can't remember it now, but like I remember that's quite a common thing in Brazil where they'll start counting and the students will finish counting.
We did one of them lately. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but we do it in English. When you're already fucking knackered from jiu-jitsu and you're like trying to speak in a language that you barely know, it can be quite embarrassing. I'd normally just mumble out some syllables and have everyone side-eye me, but. But yeah, that class we did this weird warm up where you'd hold like an isometric pose, and then you'd do some like sort of explosive movement, either squat jumps or clap press ups, and then you'd go back to a different isometric pose. Honestly, one of the, I say that most of the places you go have the same warm up. Yeah. One of the most unique ones. It's really stuck in my mind. I've never done anything else.
Did you find it difficult? Is that why it's stuck in your mind?
I think
it's just the craziness of it.
I think it was difficult in a sense because I was pretty hungover, and it was like going from tight isometric like rigid movement into being explosive.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was also very strange. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I
What would it do for your
guys that listen, have got more knowledge of sports science and stuff, please do let me know if you think there's some like actual genius behind this. But anyway, we did that, and then it was a rolling class where the coach would just pair you up with different people, and you'd roll, and it was about 2 hours of that in this place, and it was like tropical storms almost going on outside. It was just fucking
mad experience.
And like the moment that I walked out of there, it was one of those where I walked back to the hostel, and everyone had a kind of a cool day at the amusements at the waterfalls, doing their kind of touristy stuff, and it was, you just know where I don't know. I'm being a smug bastard here, probably. Like I did the thing that wasn't touristy, like, you know, like I did it before it was cool, like, one of those guys. But anyway, that was for me a quintessential subtle banger. It was something where.
Would you think if you went back now, would you think those areas would still be the same, or would you think because of the growth of jiu-jitsu and like obviously growth of Brazil and things like that it will be completely different?
Rio, I'd imagine, is very, very similar. Obviously,
I mean, I know you're only speculating.
The jiu-jitsu in Rio is so old. Like, you know, it's one of the homes that I'd say like the key places would still be there.
They keep kind of traditional.
Yeah, Sao Paulo though, because it's such a big it's constantly changing because it's such a big city.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd say that although the things might have moved location or might feel a little bit different, and I know for a fact that, and sadly, the Ilha Grande project, because I tried to find them when we were talking about them on the pod, that has temporarily or permanently closed down.
Okay.
And some of the other gyms.
COVID probably has stopped a lot of those things as well.
Most of, I think that, and also Brazil, Brazil's gone through a bit of a rough time in terms of like economically and stuff. They had like a historically bad winter for a few years running after I left, like, as in like, it got proper cold, like as in it got almost like European cold over there. And that was combined with the COVID, so I know that there's been some issues. So I'd say that probably from my following along on Instagram, most of the guys I trained with still all train jiu-jitsu.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, most of them at the same place, even if the gym's not moved. But yeah, that was for me like what I say. You know, when you push through, you maybe overcome some sort of temptation, and you know you maybe really not feeling the session, but then it just rewards you in ways that you can't imagine.
I actually had a conversation with Lucas one time on a Sunday. We're having a few pints, and I said, sometimes, you know, you just don't need to go to jiu-jitsu though. There is that odd time, like, I mean, most of the time it's rewarding, you know, when you go in, but sometimes there is times where like maybe your headspace isn't right and you might go in and maybe take something out in a training partner or something like that. Like, not speaking from self-experience, but I'm saying sometimes.
Excuse me, Mike.
Sometimes there's just.
See, this is why I don't want to roll with him.
No, sometimes you're just like, sometimes you're better off just taking the day off and like doing something else with your time. But like,
do you ever go in with expectations? Cause do you ever think like, oh, I'm gonna have a good session today, or
I fuck around with my headspace a lot with things like that, and I'm not usually like that. But there are periods, especially when my jiu-jitsu, when I feel I'm not technique isn't great, and I'm just feeling like I'm not getting the drills, and then I'm having rolls and I'm having shit rolls, and all from my own perspective, like, you know. And sometimes I go, right, look, I'm gonna fucking cut myself on now. I'm gonna eat properly today. I'm gonna come and eat properly tomorrow. And when I hit it on, we'll say this is a Monday, we'll say, when I go in on a Wednesday, I'm going to make sure I'm accountable for myself for this shit session that I had. And then you go in and get mollywopped again, like, and you're just like, I mean, I'm sure people, I think I've said it a couple of times on this, but I always say it regardless. It's like a fucking roller coaster. You're either up or you're down. You're either travelling up and you feel fantastic, or, well,
you're either travelling up very slowly or down very quickly. The roller coaster analogy is pretty good, man.
Yeah, and I mean, you're screaming on the way down as well because you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But
do you get that same? Do you ever get expectations visiting a new spot? Like, do you go in like thinking I'm gonna like?
No.
Is it with your expectations? Is it you saying to yourself, oh, I'm gonna do better than I did last night? Is it that sort of thing?
Well, I'll aim to, because you can't really control it, can you? But it's just like, because like people know, like, from just listening to, if they've listened to any of the podcasts about me talking about rolling or competing or anything, like I do fuck about a bit. So. But I'm accountable for it. I'm not going to say I'm not going to use that as an excuse as such, but like on myself, but I'll say, look, I'll do better next time, and I'll aim to do better. And then when I do better, if I don't hit the same, I'll be like, but obviously you don't get instant results as well. It's probably something that goes around my head a lot, but I don't really vocalise it. It's like, do you know the way you have these conversations in your own head?
Yeah.
But they never come out. Like it'd be a lot of that going on. But to be honest, this week, like being off the week 4, and I didn't feel great about my jiu-jitsu. Will say, like I went to Carson's the 2 Tuesdays because obviously I can't make the no-gi in Matt House. So, and I got like I didn't have anything to offer any of the other guys. I think I probably might have gave him a bit of difficulty, but like I'm gonna say I gave him fuck all difficulty if we're gonna be honest. Like, and I came away out there going fuck me, like, because it's not that I'd expect to do well when I go to another gym.
That's why I asked really, because I know you were fucked off after that session. So it was whether that was due to your expectation.
It's not the expecting, it's the hoping. And
the hoping.
Yeah. I don't.
The gambler in you.
Yeah, I don't really expect.
The next one could be a winner.
It's a weird thing to say. I don't really expect a lot of myself. I hadn't really thought about that. Actually, I'm having a bit of different reflection going on in my mind now. But yeah, I don't really expect a lot. And if things start going well, yeah, obviously I buzz with it as it goes. But yeah, I never really thought of it like that. Actually, I'm just self-analysing myself now as it's coming out of my mouth.
It's the therapy, mate. This is why we do this.
Yeah, I never have an expectation. No, I'd hope to do well. And if it doesn't go that way, it doesn't go that way.
So you don't have it when you visit comps. You don't have it when you when you visit gyms or when you go to comps. But you sometimes have it when you go to train at your home gym.
Yeah. No, I'd aim to do better. It's not an expectation. It's just that like I'm going to do better today. I suppose it's like if you put it into thought, you can come out with it. But obviously, it doesn't always manifest. It doesn't always manifest. If it did, I'd be a black belt in 2 years and I'd be selling programs on the internet.
Fast tracked, mate. But yeah, no. The reason I asked is because like I never really get that going into the gym. I used to a lot, but since I've moved to like so close that it's a case of I just get on and go.
Yeah. And
I always had an issue with building up my expectations going into a competition. Sometimes visiting other gyms with the travel, like that diluted that a lot for me because I got so used to getting the fuck beat out of me by people that were way better than me that. To me, if anything nowadays, if I go to visit an outside gym, I normally get PTSD where I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad.
I can relate.
Living around the corner from the house, I'm just like, I don't really think about it. And I think a big thing with a couple of people that watched the video of the first match have said I've looked really relaxed in it. And
I said that myself.
And I think you said it and like a couple of others. And I think a big thing with that was I didn't have time to build it up. I drove to Brighton, got warmed up, was straight on the mat, and I think
it's probably the best way to do things because you're being fired straight out of the cannon. You don't have time to settle and think.
A guy called Luke Nevis, and we'll probably finish on this because we're over an hour, bruv. This is the first time that you and I have done a solo job that's gone over the hour. But yeah,
hopefully we didn't wreck your heads.
Yeah, well,
if you made it this far, congratulations.
If you made it this far, congratulations. We might do the prize draw one day, but keep your eyes on the social media. This is like Gordon Ryan and his Miata. Like, have you seen that?
Yeah,
where he promised a Miata giveaway, and it's just been like kind of kicked down the road, like odd, loads of times. I'm losing my words. I've clearly been talking too long. Right, yeah, but Luke, a guy I travelled with, a Brazilian fella for a bit, said to me like the best thing he ever did in life was have no expectations of anyone because he never feels let down.
You can't be disappointed.
And like he kind of said that to me over a drink. I was like, okay, is this guy trying to tell me he thinks that I'm some cunt or something? Because to be fair, like there were a couple of times where like you'll plan to meet up with people, you'll plan to catch up with them while travelling, and it won't work out, or you'll get sidetracked and you'll be like to a town a few days late, and you'll feel like an arsehole. But I think he's right. I think he's right, man. It's a case of like if you do, especially with training anyway, and that's my big takeaway from this comp. If and anyone that's going to comp, if I could give you any advice, it's like just don't make it too hard on yourself. As I kind of kept saying in the early episodes, it's meant to be fun. So
yeah. James O'Brien was down as well. I wasn't around because obviously I had to tear back home, but he was down there as well. So shout out to James for getting in there and competing as well.
Big up James. I meant to actually shout you out when I was talking about the competition, but I ended up just being completely self-involved and
narcissistic and
going down a Kenyan rabbit hole. So on that note, everybody, I hope you like this episode of the reality TV show, reality podcast that focuses on the life and times of me, with a little bit of competition and a little bit of my Brazil trip. But next week we'll be back to we'll have someone more. Well, I don't really want to say Squish is more interesting than me, but we'll have someone different to me and Mark.
If he can tell the stories that he's told me behind closed doors, or even just one of them, I think it'll be a fucking awesome podcast.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got stories for days. Now, like, me and him got on like a house on fire, you two, since we first started training together.
He was there in, cutting across, but he was there in my beginner's class, and I remember him from then.
I forget that you did the beginner's course. Yeah, he's one of the people that helps run the beginner's course on a Thursday, or he did for a while. I'm not sure if he's still doing that, because I know his schedule's moved around. He used to teach on Thursday nights as well, which he isn't doing anymore. But yeah, my point is,
sorry for cutting across.
All the bullshit that I've given him and all the shit I talk about him, he's a fucking great man, and we get on because we're very, very different but very similar in some ways. So yeah, can't wait to.
You're both bald with beards.
That's it. That's where the similarity ends. But I can't wait to get him on. Can't wait to pick his brain about jiu-jitsu and about his
MMA
life and times as an MMA judge, but also as someone that's competed a bit himself. So yeah, guys,
he's got some awesome stories.
Yeah, if you've got questions, if you
have any questions about maybe the MMA BJJ correlation, I think he'd be someone to answer, because he's done both.
You got any questions about, like, reffing and judging and how he got into that scene? Because I know not everyone's going to be a top level competitor, but it's quite cool to be able to set. I went and time kept for him. It was cool to be able to sit ringside and do that. It's a little side hustle. It might not be your main income, but I think there's some. I've definitely been people at the gym that have asked about how he got into it, and if ever they're interested in him in him having someone to help, they've asked for it. So yeah, people that listen, fire your questions over for Squish on the usual channels. Where do they get us, Mark? Yeah, so
same as always, it's Degen BJJ pod. Follow, share, subscribe, and all that nonsense. As I always say, if this is the first one you've listened to, it probably would have been better to have listened to the last episode to get on track with what we're talking about now. But you can listen to them individually. But if you listen to them from the start all the way through, it will make more sense, because there's a lot more in-jokes and things like that in it that you'll get, and people that we're talking about we might have had on here, so it'll pick up a bit easier for you. Use Degen10 on X-Martial for 10% off any of your gear. Links are in the bio. All the stuff is in the bio, Instagram, everything like that. But Instagram is the best place to go. There's a WhatsApp community we're trying to start and get going. I'll post the videos in there probably on Saturday morning to give people a chance to follow, because if you follow on Instagram you can't go back and see the videos in it.
Yeah, good shout. Yeah.
So if you're listening to it on a Friday and you're like the podcast, because I know a lot of people do, but I'll put them in there on Saturday morning just so people will have a chance. And if you've anything you want to give feedback on them, or feedback on any of the previous episodes, Spotify do voice notes, and they do you can leave feedback in the comment section there if you don't want to be getting involved in WhatsApp communities and things like that. Yeah, or get us on Insta. Yeah, Insta is the best. Always, yeah. Cool. Anything else from you? No, man, just well done on that choke, man. I'm just fucking, I tell you, it blew me away. I can't say it enough. Nearly blew me away, but managed to hang on in there. Right, everybody, as always, play it to your nan. Much love. See you guys. Catch you next week.